Gotta love the title of this one. Witnesses describe tense moments after bystander shoots a gunman who shot two other people near Seattle's famed Pike Place Market, just outside the Four Seasons Hotel. It's what we got going on in Seattle. I talk a lot about the violence really close by the Pike Place Market. This is one of those stories. Let's get into it. Here we go. Here in Seattle, we've had just a slew of violence. Just a bunch of shootings. Cops shot another drug dealer, had been arrested 3 times. He'd shot at cops. Just got people running around shooting each other. This story here, let's check this one out.
Steve and Michelle, the teenager who started all this, has been identified by the medical examiner as Cale Nussbaum. Now, we were also
the medical examiner because he's dead. Whipped out a gun, tried to kill a bunch of people that had differing opinions than his. And then another dude who was illegal carrying, 57 years old, kid that got shot 16 years old, sophomore in high school, if he's in high school. I mean, the whole thing is just like, what? What are we doing here?
able to speak to witnesses and review surveillance footage to get a clear picture of how all this gun violence went down in the heart of the city's tourism district.
We
have penetration.
Look at this.
You see here through the window, 2 shots there.
Kelly Tallaridi is sizing up the number of shattered windows.
Nothing says, come lease this space, like shattered glass out in front. Hey, what happened here? What happened here? Yeah, shooting. Oh, okay. Yeah, where do I sign that lease? Not.
Pockmarked walls following a shooting just outside the condominium tower where he works.
Luckily, the residence units that were hit by the gunfire were not present.
But on the street in front of the building, a deadly confrontation played out.
That was the talk of the building as I came in.
Look, Four Seasons.
Seattle police say a 16-year-old shot 2 people before being killed himself by a bystander with a gun who happened to be nearby.
And it sounded like we're in the middle of New York City with sirens going blasting by the hotel.
Como News has since learned that a group of youth were walking down Union Street when several others riding scooters and a bike approached them and blocked their way to a stairwell to the waterfront.
They were all confronting, and the active shooter took out his gun, and he fires and hits 2 people.
Tallaridi says another man who was not involved in the confrontation was also armed. That bystander fired at the teenage gunman, who dropped immediately and died a short time later.
Well, I'm thankful that they were around because who else could have gotten hurt as a result?
Investigators say that bystander stayed at the scene and cooperated with them fully, and no one was placed under arrest.
I hate to say it, but I'm grateful that someone stopped what could have been even more.
Seattle police say this area here is already heavily patrolled, and they don't plan any additional security measures because of this gun violence. Now, as for the 2 people who were wounded, one has already been released from the hospital. The other is said to be in satisfactory condition.
It was just after 10 p.m. Wednesday night that Seattle police responded to reports of gunfire near First Avenue and Union Street.
One individual produced a weapon, fired on the 2 individuals, and then began to flee the scene. When he did, he encountered a private citizen that was licensed to carry, and that private citizen fired his weapon, striking the suspect.
Police say the shooter was just 16 years old. The private citizen is a 57-year-old concealed carry permit holder who intervened and shot the teen.
We did.
And I believe that individual's from Tennessee. I couldn't confirm that in any of the reports, but that's what I seem to remember hearing that.
Recover the suspect's weapon, and that private citizen is cooperating with us.
SPD says the 2 victims and suspect were taken to Harborview. The suspect died there. One of the victims has been released and the other is in satisfactory condition.
We need people to have cooler heads to prevail. People who are carrying weapons, just know that our officers.
Cooler heads to prevail. You got a 16-year-old that's strapped, that's just running around on bicycles shooting people. I mean, because typically there's nobody around with a gun that's going to take you out, let alone the police. You just run around and gangbang people and it's all good. Seattle.
Are out here. We are doing proactive patrol.
Police say the private citizen is not being interviewed as a suspect. Experts say that's likely because of Washington's self-defense laws.
Washington is what they call a no duty to retreat state. Other states call it stand your ground. The idea is exactly the same. When a person is confronted by a bad guy or confronts a bad guy, he is not required to back away, to run away, to retreat. So it doesn't have to do that.
King 5 law enforcement analyst John Urquhart explains that under state law, citizens can use force to defend themselves, others, or property.
Seattle police are still trying to determine how the suspect and the victims knew each other. That's part of the ongoing investigation. Anyone with information should call SPD.
Check out how close this is. There's the gum wall. This is basically at the Pike Place Market is indicated here, but the gum wall is almost directly under the main entrance there where you see that sign to Pike Place. Here's the Four Seasons Hotel, and it happened right out in front of that. So this area is... it's got some of the highest concentration of tourists in Seattle, period. You've got the waterfront park down here. You got the Seattle Aquarium here. Got all the piers along here. You've got the Seattle Great Wheel. It's that big wheel that overlooks all Puget Sound. I mean, it's an incredible scene. And yet you got these kids just running around, 16 years old. Hey, I don't like what you said to me. I don't like that you're riding my bike that I want. Whatever they were arguing about, who knows? And now some kid is dead. What is a 16-year-old doing running the streets of downtown Seattle at 10 whatever on a Wednesday night? Where are the parents involved in this? It's one of those F around and find out events, isn't it? What happens if I confront these other kids and some old guy has a gun and he shoots me? What happens? Well, you die. And that's unfortunately what happened. I'm surprised we don't hear more about this. Witnesses said a bystander in the right place at the right time jumped in to stop a gunman who shot two people near Pike Place Market in downtown Seattle. The shooting suspect was just 16 years old, out running the city on a Wednesday night. That's the real issue here. What are the parents doing? Why don't the parents have this kid at home doing his homework? Is he not in school? What's he doing? And where'd he get the gun? Where's the gun coming from? If he stole it, okay. There's more issues going on here, right? When I grew up, 16-year-olds didn't steal guns because you know what? They weren't afraid of the law. They were afraid of their parents. My parents are just going to absolutely... when they find out about this, it's not going to be. And so you just didn't do that kind of stuff. Now you've got no parenting. Just like, I don't know where little Jimmy is. He's probably just, probably down at the orphanage handing out candy. I'm not really sure. Come On News has learned that the suspect, who is now dead, teamed up with several accomplices to confront a group of young people around 10 p.m. Only reason you're running around that area of town 10 p.m. at night because you're buying, selling, using drugs. Period. That's the only reason. You're not out, hey, look at the views. It's dark. You're not seeing that. Wednesday at First Avenue and Union Street in the heart of the city's tourism district. And that's why this story didn't get a ton of coverage because it's like, oh, that's right in the heart of tourism. Maybe if we don't tell anybody, we won't know. I mean, maybe, just maybe. As the gunfire began, a man with his own firearm stepped out of the shadows and killed the teenager shooter. Medical examiner has since identified the deceased as Cale Vaughn Kellen Nussbaum. All three people were shot in front of the Four Seasons Hotel. Again, it doesn't scream out, hey, come and stay at the Four Seasons Hotel in Seattle. There might be a shooting. It's pretty exciting. Come see what we have to offer. And yet this area literally has millions and millions and millions of people come through it a year. And when I tell people, if you're out at night, maybe head on a swivel. And they just look at me blindly like, in Seattle? I'm like, yeah, in Seattle. Really? Yeah. Doesn't happen all the time. But this is literally a couple of blocks from the Seattle's Blade. The Blade. And many of the rounds struck a condominium building across the street. Hey, I've got a deal for you. It's a slight fixer-upper. Yeah, those are impact marks from bullets, but we don't focus on that. We focus on the upside potential. This is a diamond in the rough. We have penetration, you'll see here through the window, and 2 shots. We heard that in the first video. 2 shots there, said Kelly Tallardi, the facility director at 98 Union. When you blow out a commercial window like that, man, that is so expensive. We also had somebody, where was that? This was a story that happened last night, Sunday night. It's now Monday. Where was that? 3rd Avenue, 4th Avenue, 5th Avenue. Somebody just took a hammer and bashed out a whole bunch of windows. Just, walking along, smacked 3 windows in downtown Seattle. Just out of their minds, whacked out of their minds, had nothing better to do. Their own version of tourism in Seattle. Hey, let's go smoke some fetty and then we'll just walk around and blow out some windows. Tallardi spent Thursday morning sizing up the number of shattered windows and pockmarked walls following the shooting inside the residential building where he works. Comforting. Hey, what happened at work today? Got to work and there's a bunch of bullet holes and blowing out windows. And dude died out there. 2 more people in the hospital. And, some guy just whipped out his gun and capped the kid. That's what's going on in Seattle. Luckily, the residents whose units were hit by the gunfire were not present. Yes, that is fortunate. The whole thing. There are no consequences for people committing crimes in Seattle. It's this ever-revolving justice system. It's the result of justice reform. You are watching it. 16-year-olds running around with guns getting killed by adults that are like, hey, that's not right. Right? After speaking to witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage, Como News has learned that a group of the 5 youth were walking down Union Street when 3 people riding scooters and another on a bike approached them and blocked their way to the stairwell to the waterfront. So you've got these enormous stairwells because this is steep. This is downtown Seattle. And you are a couple of blocks walk, well, maybe 1 or 2 at this point from the waterfront, but it's really steep and you got to go down it. So there's these stairwells that are, pretty contained. And if you block it, well, you can't get down. And so somebody said, nah, I'm going to pass and, shot somebody. 2 people, in fact. The bicyclist had a gun and could be seen on video footage aggressively going up to the group and starting a confrontation. Maybe they're just hassling these people. You're on our turf. You're on our turf. It's downtown Seattle. This is our block. Maybe doing some horse's ass thing like that, right? They were all confronting, and the active shooter took out his gun and fired and hit 2 people. In the footage, another man was not involved in the confrontation, was lingering at one edge of the Four Seasons. He was also armed, and as the shots began to ring out, bystander drew his own weapon and fired at the teenage gunman, who dropped immediately and died a short time later. F around and find out. I am shocked that this innocent bystander who happened to be carrying, who stopped more gun violence from happening, who stopped more gang member violence or whatever this is from happening. I am shocked that he is not being prosecuted. I mean, that to me is just like, what? Holy cow. I mean, we've got a, Seattle mayor who's basically persecuting Christians, anybody going to church, calling them far-right extremists. And these aren't the values of, church isn't the values. Faith aren't values in Seattle. So you got the good guy shooting the bad kid. I mean, you would almost expect the bad guy to be in jail, right? But there's been zero mention of that. I'm thankful that he was around, said Amy Baker. We heard her say that because who else would have gotten her hurt as a result? Well, it sounds like that kid just had him lined up and he was just, shooting him. Investigators said the bystander stayed at the scene and cooperated with them fully, and no one was placed under arrest because he was an innocent bystander and he was licensed to carry, and you have that right in the state of Washington, and you hate to say it, but we need more of this to happen because people need to understand that you just can't carry a gun around and there's no consequences, even if our judges and our judicial system aren't really doing anything about the crime that's going on. Because if they were, you'd have less of it. You'd have some deterrent to crime. But that's not what's happening. You've got the opposite, which is, it's okay. It's okay. I hate to say it, but I'm grateful that someone stopped what could have been even more dangerous. Seattle police said the area is already heavily patrolled. This is probably one of the heaviest patrolled areas in Seattle because you've got tourism. You got tourism to basically protect. Armed civilian kills teen suspect after downtown Seattle shooting. Good. You know what I mean? Hey, he broke it up. Could have been way, way worse. Let's move on to our stabbing investigation. We've had some just fantastic stabbings lately. People are really getting after it. Let's see what this one looks like.
And staying on top of breaking news out of the downtown Seattle area where police are investigating a deadly stabbing. This happened near 5th and Pike just after 10 last night. It started as a fight between two men. One of them died. The other is cooperating with police.
Great.
This happened just a few blocks from a deadly shooting that also happened last night. Three people were shot. One is dead. So let's head out to Fox 13's Nikki Torres with more on this story. Good morning.
Just look at the map alone. Pike Place Market here, shooting here, stabbing here. You got the Blade. Whereas this is 5th, so 3rd, Pike. Yeah, you got the Blade right here. I mean, you stand right here. You can see the Pike Place Market. It's only 2 blocks down. So stabbing, death, shooting, death. Welcome to Seattle. Come and visit. It's going to be great.
Maria, good morning. We do know that according to SPD, this shooting happened right around 10 o'clock last night, and there is still an on-scene portion of this investigation that is going as of right now, as you can tell. Now, this is 1st and Union here in Seattle. We are just a block away from Pike Place Market, just across the street from Seattle Art Museum as well. This is where officers said someone called 911 last night reporting a shooting at this intersection. SPD says that there were 3 people who were shot. That was 1 suspect and 2 victims who make up the 3 people. So here is how it happened. Police say there was an altercation and the suspect then shot 2 victims at the dead end of this street. Those 2 victims are 17 and 18 years old, according to Seattle Fire Department. Seattle Fire took both of those victims to Harborview Medical.
16, 17, 18, all high schoolers, or should be.
Center in serious condition. Now, after this shooting, shortly after, police say there was a person who stepped in and then shot the suspect. Police say this was a private citizen who is licensed to carry a firearm. The suspect was then also rushed to Harborview Medical Center. They say he died at the hospital. Now, the person who shot the suspect, they are cooperating with police, according to SPD. We do not know yet what led up to this shooting. That is still under investigation. We also do not know who the suspect is or either of these victims.
It's an officer-involved shooting. Drug dealer. Just running around Belltown, just to the north of where we've been talking about. Subject ran from officers and they chased him on foot. Subject pointed a gun. Officers discharged his firearm at the armed subject. Near 3rd Avenue and Wall Street. Right there.
No, don't do that. Come here. Come here. Come here. Stop, man. Stop now. Stop! Seattle police, stop! Now! Drop it! Drop it! Drop it! Drop the gun! Drop the gun!
Wow.
He's got a gun. Stop! Now! Stop! Stop now! Westbound. Stop!
Imagine
Please!
driving your car and the cops.
Stop now! DeMarco, stop!
They know his name.
DeMarco! DeMarco!
Shot fired, shot fired, shot fired.
It's broad daylight. 12:30. Bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
DeMarco, stop now!
The guy in the scooter's like, what in the F is going on? You can hear the other guy saying DeMarco's. Oh, here's the gun. I think he fires. Does he fire?
Proceed suspect down on the north side of our Burma.
All right. They got contacting you guys. Ready for you approach?
Yeah, give me a sec. Pat, you good over there?
I just can't see around that corner.
Mm.
All right, whenever you're ready.
Can't imagine doing this in Seattle. Just like,
You good? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Whenever you're ready. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
so this guy's down right up here. Yep, right there.
Don't worry, I got him. Hey. Let me see your hands. Okay. Do not reach for the gun.
He's done this before.
Whenever you guys are ready.
He's done this before.
I got lethal on him.
Is the scene secure for fire?
Negative.
Don't move! Hands, get out!
Ready.
You got to.
Ready. Whenever you're ready.
Moving up.
Do not move or you will be shot.
Don't move!
You will be shot if you moved.
Mm.
I got it.
Yeah. Hey, Idris?
Maybe he'll do a little time. He just got out of prison. Let's read about that dude, right? Let's read about that dude. What is that guy doing? Just running around willy-nilly. Let's run through this one. Seattle Police Department, and this is all within the same time. Stabbing, shooting, drug dealer, running around midday. It's bright out. You could get tan. And the guy's running around and cops are having to shoot at him because he's running through the streets of Seattle with a gun. Seattle Police Department released body camera video Monday. This was released just a few hours ago. This was Jeremy Harris. Showing a foot pursuit and police shooting involving a convicted drug dealer in the city's Belltown neighborhood. Belltown being just slightly north and kind of east of where we've been talking about, but it's right there. According to an arrest report, officers were conducting surveillance near 100 Battery Street on Friday afternoon when they spotted DeMarco DeJean Black, 34, who has prior convictions for dealing drugs in Seattle and was shot by police during a narcotics arrest in 2020, the summer of love. Oh. But he's out on the street just running around, living his best life as a drug dealer. Black is on probation and prohibited from being in Belltown as part of his conditions for early release from prison. Are you going to be a good boy? Are you going to not get in trouble? Yes, Your Honor, I promise. I believe in God now. And he just goes right back out to his drug dealing ways, running around with a gun in the neighborhood he's not supposed to be in. Seattle police officer said that he witnessed Black exchange drugs for money. No way, a drug dealer? I don't believe it. I mean, this stuff is just so typical, and you've got these judges who are just like, be a good boy for us, would you? We'll let you out. Because, justice reform. When police attempted to arrest Black, he ran northbound on 2nd Avenue as other officers raced to the area to assist, according to an arrest report. Belltown is a ton of kind of mid-rise condominiums, newer buildings with a smattering of, commercial, a lot of restaurants. I mean, I still have this image of Belltown in my head when I was appraising. It wasn't that bad, but now I read all these stories and I'm like, it's pretty close to the Blade. It's pretty close to Pike Place Market. You got some real violence going on there. In the body cam video released Monday, officers called Black by his name. That's how well they know this individual, first name basis. You get the frequent flyers card for being in prison because you're going back. I saw Black stop completely, turn around, and point the firearm directly at others. And I think that is when number 3, was it number 3 or number 2 shot at him? One officer fired twice at Black after he pointed a gun at officers for a second time during the pursuit, but the shots missed. Black surrendered and was taken into custody. I mean, it's wild, right? Absolutely wild. Black was booked into King County Jail for investigation of assault in the first degree and unlawful possession of a firearm. This is the second time Seattle police have been involved in a shooting with Black. January 2020, prior to Summer of Love. Black pointed a gun at arresting officers who were trying to detain him for dealing drugs in Belltown. In July 2020, a judge sentenced Black to 7 years in prison for pointing the gun at the officers during the arrest. According to the Washington Department of Corrections, Black was released from prison in November of 2024. Seattle police arrested Black on drug charges in March and April of this year. March, April, running around shooting cops, getting in firefights. I mean, Department of Corrections said Black was sentenced to 7 days in jail after he was found in Seattle to allegedly buy drugs. At a first appearance hearing on Saturday, a judge set bail for Black at $300,000. I'm sure that'll get dropped to $30,000. And this lowlife will come up with $3,000 from somewhere. Prosecutors expect to make a charging decision on his latest arrest this week. Seattle, you got a lot of stuff happening. A lot of stuff. Stabbing, shooting, drug dealers running around. And, I'd say that this is all happening in an area where, if you just don't go there after night, it's fine. This is tourism central. This is tourism 101. And it's this concentrated little spot. And you just got these people just running around because it's also where a lot of the drugs come in and out of. It's where people know they can go to get drugs. So if you're going to Seattle's Pike Place Market, literally, most of the time during the day, it's fine. At night, sketchy, but we just saw this dude running from cops because they were after him. They saw him. And when they said in the first video we watched about the dude, 57-year-old dude shooting the 16-year-old, they said it's heavily patrolled. This is why. Because you got a bunch of criminals running around, and every now and then, and this kind of, nonsense comes up. This is what we're working with in Seattle. You got to put these people away for a while. You have to make sentencing of these criminal activities such that they don't do it again, because you can see how many times this guy has already been in and out of the same crimes, and he's not in jail. This guy should be locked up. He should be locked up. Give him 15 years. No parole. Cool as jets. Get him off the streets. But we're not doing that because of justice reform. How's that working out for downtown Seattle? Yeah. Well, Sean, big city crimes. Big city crimes. No, doesn't have to be. Doesn't have to be. It's fine to have big city crimes, but make sure the justice can measure it with shooting at police officers, shooting at individual kids on the street, 17 and 18-year-olds. Wild stuff. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.